It was the end of the decade in 2019. And what a decade of movies we saw from 2010 to 2019. There were a lot of great movies throughout this 2010s decade that it was hard to narrow it down. With how I determined my top 10 is that basically these are my favorite movies of the decade. Movies that I saw myself going over and over again to the theater to watch, buying the Blu-ray or on digital and watching it over and over again because I liked it so much, regardless of the quality of the film. But the quality of the film did help my reasons for loving it. But with making my list, there is one movie of the decade that really stood out and would be my favorite movie of the 2010s decade. Here are my top 10 favorite movies of the 2010s decade. To start out my list, at my number 10, it's a musical, and that's Sing Street, released in 2016. I really enjoy musicals. In 2016, two big musicals released that year, La La Land and Sing Street. In all honesty, I prefer Sing Street over La La Land. And Sing Street really struck a chord with me, no pun intended, to where it was a fantastic musical, great original songs, and a great story with great acting to boot. At my number 9, it's Gareth Evans' The Raid, released in 2011. The US release retitled it The Raid Redemption. I enjoy watching martial arts movies. I am a fan of martial arts movies. By being a fan of Jackie Chan when I was a kid, it led me to appreciate martial arts movies throughout the years. The Raid introduced me into Indonesian martial arts Pencak Silat, as well as the lead actor Iko Uwais. Since watching The Raid, I looked back to Marantau to see their work together with Gareth Evans, and then the later releases with The Raid 2, and Iko Uwais even made some debuts with a couple of American films. My 8th favorite movie of the decade is 2015's Creed. This sequel, after the Rocky franchise, continues the story of Adonis Creed, the son of Apollo Creed, albeit the child was born out of an affair. With the direction of Ryan Coogler and the acting of Michael B. Jordan, this was a perfect pairing to create and continue the Rocky franchise with the story of Adonis Creed. This movie brought an excitement to a sports movie, especially with boxing. And again with Creed, it helps continue this Rocky story through Adonis Creed. Speaking of Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, my number 7 favorite film of the decade is Black Panther, released in 2018. Again, this movie is directed by Ryan Coogler. He did an amazing job, and it brought a new light to superheroes as we see another black superhero make it into the limelight. And with that, it had a majority black cast, and it showcased a different culture within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. With Black Panther, it also brought a great story. It really connected the world to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, also as in introducing us to the world of Black Panther and Wakanda. At my number 6 favorite films of the decade, it's 2018's Crazy Rich Asians. Crazy Rich Asians is a, you could say, typical romantic comedy, yet it features an all-Asian cast. Even though the story was cliche, it provides an Asian twist to all the story and cultural themes. I really loved Crazy Rich Asians. It's a fun, enjoyable, romantic comedy, and it is great to see Asians represented on screen. At my number 5, it is Avengers Endgame, released in 2019. Like I said in my top 10 favorite movies of 2019, Avengers Endgame was the accumulation of all the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies into this one. And it really creates a great finale to the whole story arc of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But technically it's not the end. They're still going on with the lore of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. At number 4, it's The Foreigner, released in 2017. The Foreigner is Jackie Chan's return to a Western-produced movie released worldwide. The Foreigner is directed by Martin Campbell, who also directed the 2006 movie Casino Royale, the Bond remake. Like I said, I am a Jackie Chan fan, and it is great to see Jackie Chan back on the big screen in theaters. Although Jackie Chan has been making movies, it's just that they don't see a wide theatrical release here in the US. I would have to try to find it because it does release in limited theaters here in the US, but for the most part it just goes straight to Blu-ray or digital, and that's where I end up seeing those movies that he makes, which he is still making movies up until now, albeit he is more acting like his age, which he acted pretty darn well in The Foreigner. The Foreigner is a very gritty story, not the typical Jackie Chan action comedies that we've seen before, or in comparison to his Chinese releases, although there are some Chinese dramatic action movies he's done before. But with the worldwide release of The Foreigner, it just introduces us to Jackie Chan, that he's still there, he's still acting well. And The Foreigner is a great movie. At my number 3 favorite movie of the decade, it's Mad Max Fury Road, released in 2015. My goodness, Mad Max Fury Road is a very intense, action-packed, post-apocalyptic movie. It reintroduces us to the world and lore of the Mad Max universe. This is a sequel to the previous 3 movies before it. Mad Max Fury Road is an action visual masterpiece. There wasn't a lot of dialogue in this, but you get the story from the physical aspects of everyone. Charlize Theron's character is a real standout in this movie. My second favorite movie of the decade, it's Rogue One, a Star Wars story, released in 2016. I was highly anticipating these side stories from the Star Wars episodic films, and to see the story of the recovery of the Death Star plans. It was really amazing to watch. The directors did a great job with Rogue One. It introduces us to a whole new world within the lore of Star Wars. There was a lot of nostalgia and cool little Easter eggs in the movie. The action set piece in the third act is really epic. Now, my number 1 favorite movie of the decade, it's Skyfall, released in 2012. Skyfall also honored the 50th anniversary of the James Bond movies. Skyfall was the 3rd film in the rebooted James Bond franchise, which stars Daniel Craig. This movie was absolutely fantastic, with the combination of the director Sam Mendes and the director of photography Roger Deakins. It provided a very beautiful movie. Yes, a beautiful James Bond film. The story is great, the acting is great, especially with Javier Bardem as the villain. It was all great and amazing. The action set pieces they put Bond in was shot incredibly well and done incredibly well. And it was an exciting movie to watch over and over again. And I'll say it later once I re-review the film, but Skyfall is my favorite James Bond film of all time as well. Although, so far, there's still more James Bond films to come. Ladies and gentlemen, those are my top 10 favorite movies of the 2010s decade. Thank you for watching this video. Comment down below what you thought of my list and what movies you liked in the 2010s decade. Make sure to subscribe to the Spellgo YouTube channel if you haven't. Like this video, and thank you for watching.